Parshas this week of Tazria-Metzora tell us about tzaras, and we know that Chazal connect tzaras as the punishment, a spiritual punishment for the avera, for the sin of lashon hara, of speaking negatively about others. And sometimes there's a misunderstanding when it comes to lashon hara. And the answer is, well, it's not lashon hara. It can't be that it's derogatory. It can't be that it's prohibited, because it's true. But the Chafetz Chaim teaches us, based on Chazal, that lashon hara by definition is true. There are other prohibitions that one violates if it's not true, but lashon hara by definition is true. And we don't have tzaras as that reminder. We don't have tzaras coming to us, unfortunately. We're not on that spiritual level that Ramban explains, where we have tzaras, where we have a message from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, watch what you are saying. And it unfortunately sometimes means that our mouth can be hefker, can be without boundaries, and we're not as meticulous, we're not as careful as maybe we should be. And I think part of the trouble is that we feel that our words don't have substance to them. They float into the air. They're not as significant. But the emes is, the truth is that our words are so powerful and can be so comforting at times and can be so damaging at other times. And Rav Pinkus has an unbelievable insight when it comes to tzaras. There are different forms of tzaras, and we have the se'es and the sapachas and the baheres. But what you find in the tzaras is that it's different degrees of whiteness. Lavan, white. And the deeper the white is, the more chamor, the more stringent the nega is. What's the message in that? What is the Torah perhaps hinting at? And Rav Pinkus explains that the more white the information is, the more the person seems to be saying it out of a position of tara, of purity. But it's true, it's important, it's l'shem shamayim. The more chamor that it is, the more suspect that we must be, and the more careful that we have to be. There is a heter, there is permission at times to say lashon hara l'to'elas, when it's going to be to save somebody from something, when there's a purpose. But the halachos of l'to'elas are so complicated. It needs a shelas chacham. We need to ask a real question. The prohibition is so chamor. But the more that it's white, we have to be careful. The more we feel that it's l'shem shamayim, that the decision that's going on, the information is critical. It affects my future. It affects the community. It affects Klal Yisrael. I have to speak up. We have to be careful. So what do we do if there's something that we feel strongly about? So we have to keep our words positive. We have to speak about what is important to us, about what's meaningful to us in a positive way, and avoid anything negative at all costs. At all costs. It's not worth it. It's damaging. It's prohibited. It's usher. And l'shem shamayim, acting because this is obviously what Hashem wants, what the Torah wants, is not an acceptable excuse. Think about it. Digest those words. Understand this concept. Sometimes you have to go to the Kohen. You have to go to the leader. You have to go to the Rav to ask a shaila. Because lashon hara, l'shem shamayim, is not a simple thing. So whatever the issue may be, and there are important ones, and you may feel passionate about it, the message that Torah is telling us is keep that message positive. Explain what you believe in, why you believe in it, but avoid those derogatory comments. At all costs, let us keep our mouths holy so that they can be a tool with which we can dive into Hashem, speak words of Torah, and get closer to the Ribono Shel Olam.